Welcome to our webinar today, English-speaking EMEA technical camping for virtual service, information on backups, templates, how to duplicate services and sub-services, and then the second topic, zero trust concept. My name is Renard. I'm guiding you through the mountains of slides today, and hopefully everything goes according to plan with the demo lab. Schedule for today. First, we're gonna we're gonna talk about technical camping and channel updates. Then we will start with the first topic, all about the backups and modification and so on. Then the second question or second topic, zero trust concept. And afterwards, you will get an email with a questionnaire sent out to you. The next dates, maybe that's the important part. The next technical camping will be on May 9th and is about what do you need a reverse proxy for, what use cases are there, and API deep dive. And then the dates afterwards will be the 12th of September and November 11th. For anyone who underwent the 2-day training class already and is interested to learn more about LoadMaster, there will be a masterclass in September happening. And I just try to fill the class as much as I can. Great. I also placed the last webinar YouTube link into the slides so that you can check out the last topic if you missed it. That happened on January 21st. Back to me, I already said, my name is Renard. I'm the principal pre-sales engineer for progress in the EMEA region, focusing on LoadMaster. I'm covering France, Benelux, and DACH, and I would also cover Mike if he's not there. He's my partner in crime to cover the other parts of Europe. So yeah, we would be responsible for you. Now, one little request. If you have any special use cases or customer requests you might not be able to solve yet, or you are unsure, please let us know. Put the example in the chat. We can also get in touch with you afterwards again. We like to collect loads of different odd kind of things to find out, can our products help? Can LoadMaster help with that? Or maybe a combination of other progress products. Can they maybe help for that odd request to assist you there? Let us know and we can look into it and maybe find a solution for you. So if you have anything like that, write it in the chat line here, put it in the questions, or email us afterwards. No problem. But here our offer, reach out to us. We're happy to look into it and help you if possible. Okay. So now, why did I start with this now? Did I make a copy paste error? 1 second. Bear with me a sec. Oh yeah, I did a copy paste error. That's nice. Those things are bound to happen, so bear with me a second. I overwrote those. I overwrote those slides. Let's correct them. Our first topic was about the virtual service modification. So Here we go. Now we have the correct slides. Sorry for that hiccup. Good. First topic, how can we duplicate our virtual service? What kind of options do we have? How can we tamper with it? How can we duplicate it or work on a chain, make changes and so on? So first of all, you have the option to take a virtual service and back it up, and then you can modify the backup. So that helps if you, for example, want to go from one load balancer to another one, but you cannot turn off the old one, for example. In that moment, you have a no downtime situation. So you could modify the backups that all the virtual services you restore are disabled by default. And then you can restore it without causing an issue, and you can then manually disable on the old unit and enable on the new unit, and that way you have minimal issue of data lost or of transactions being dropped. So that's one option. I will display that in the live demo for you in a sec. What you need to know about backup and restore, there are two backups you can take off a load balancer. One is the SSL certificates, and the second one is the config. The config involves your base configuration. That means all your settings in the load balancer, all your IP addresses, all your ACL control lists, and so on. Then the virtual service configuration, which means all your VIPs you host on your load balancer, including content rules for them and so on. Then the geo configuration separately, or everything that's in that geo bracket if you use Enterprise Plus level. And the ESP SSO configuration. So this is all of your client sites SSO config, your server side SSO config, and your image sets. Also important to know, the base configuration causes a reboot. All the other three, they don't cause a reboot for the machine where you restore the backup. Your certificate backup stores all your SSL certificates and your intermediate certificates, and it does need a passphrase. You cannot save that backup without a passphrase. So your certificates are always protected. You can restore your VIP certificates only, or your intermediate certificates only, or you can restore everything. And for the configuration backup, you can store the entire configuration, and you can then choose what you want to restore out of the backup. If it's only the VIPs, only Geo, only SSO, or the core configuration. Red again, core configuration causes a reboot. The other in blue don't. When you restore the virtual services out of a backup, it will override everything existing on the load balancer. So you cannot say, oh, I have a handful of services already, and now I want to restore from a backup and add another few on. It doesn't work that way, but I can show you later another alternative how you can achieve that also. Good. Now, you have the option to duplicate a virtual service. So when you go into a service, on the top right side, you have three buttons. One of them is called duplication. So you can duplicate a virtual service with the same settings as it has. Same real service, same settings, same everything. And you can duplicate it to a different IP or a different port. So that's pretty nice if you want to make changes to something without interfering on the production service. This is pretty handy. All settings, all rules, real service, everything get copied. And if you running on the general access firmware, so our latest firmware versions, 7.2.61, you can even duplicate a sub virtual service. So within a service, you can also duplicate a sub service. Also pretty handy if you want to test something specific, take a copy of the original one and work on that. pretty nice. On top of that, if you want to, if you have created a certain service with certain settings that works for you in your lab, you can generate a template from that and import the template to a different load balancer and then create a new virtual service based on the settings from the template. Now, you won't have the default gateway in that template because the networks can change and you won't have the real service behind it, but everything else will be in the template. For example, if ESP is used, what settings you have in ESP. If you have sub VS or content rules, it will be all part of the template. If you send the templates to Progress, you can even get them signed and we will publish them on the Progress page if you have a certain application that will be good for other people too. We were happy to share that. Now, I did collect a few K-Base articles for you, and now let's dive into the live demo straight away for the first topic. So hopefully it's not asleep yet. Here we go. My lab right now. So this is a load balancer HA pair on 61 right now. This is what I currently have on it. So just to show you certificates and security, I do have a certificate. I have no intermediates right now, and I could save my certificates in a backup. Here we go. Saved. And if I now go to a different load balancer, here I have one I was playing with the other day. That guy is not on 61, it's on 60 only, and it has, does it have a certificate? It does. Let's delete that. So now, as you see, there are no certificates installed on this guy anymore, but I can go into the certificate backup we just downloaded from my other HA pair, just created now. And I want to restore everything and take the passkey. And now the certificate is getting restored. Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah, that was because I took the certificate off. Bear with me a sec. Check again. Yeah, now we try it again. It was because I took the certificate off, he was losing his connection. That was expected. Now back, certificate backup. Everything should be restored and passcode. And now my certificate has been restored from the backup and is available for me. And I can assign it straight away again. Good. So that was certificate backups. Now, you see here, I have a service created on 81, right? So let's take a backup of that as well. And because I was asked in the past a long time, how can I now merge different virtual services from two different load balancers together? You can take a backup, config backup this time. So this is taken off this machine. Now here is my HA machine right now. I'm also taking a backup from this guy. And within the backup file, you could merge your config. So let's have a look. How does it work? I'm opening, first I unzip the backup of the one machine that I want to merge into my HA pair. I'm opening it twice. There you can see all the pieces in it. And here in the BAHD conf, this is where you find all the information about your global check levels. And also here you see the virtual service, right, on AT1. So that's all in here. And now I'm going into the backup of my HA pair. I'm not unzipping it. I simply open it with 7-zip, and I open the second piece as well with 7-zip. And now I'm going to edit the BAHD conf. You see now this is the entire configuration of the unit with my second load balancer with the HA pair. You see loads of content rules. And also further down, you see the different virtual services, right? So AD3 and so on and so on and so on. I now go to the bottom because the last virtual service should have the highest virtual ID. Let's have a look. Here we go. Okay, let's take ID 99 in that case. So you see all the sections are in here. These are subsections. Let me double check. Subsections. So I will paste the virtual service that I want to migrate into this setting here. And then I can restore the backup with a new virtual service in it. So now let me see. Don't want to interfere with my Exchange here. Come on. Yeah, 24 was the last service I created, so I put it right there. So where was Notepad here? Bad conf. So I'm now taking the entire selection up to there, and I paste it in here. There we go. And I'm going to change my ID to 92 right now, just for the sake of it. 92 and 91, because I know there's no idea yet. And I want to make sure these are disabled because I have them running already on the other machine. So I take the enable, change it to 0. There as well. And now you can save this file. And when you close it, he will ask you if you want to apply the change within the archive. Yes, I want. And then you can close that archive and apply the change to the second archive as well. Now it's updated. So my backup now has been updated with our current time. And I'm going to my HA pair again and restore my virtual services from the backup we modified. And now I'm expecting to see my VIPs that I had earlier, but also to see the VIPs disabled out of this guy. And now I have merged two setups together. I hope you liked that little demonstration. That is not something you find in any progress documentation. It's It's a little bit advanced, but support should know how that works. So technically, they can help you with that. So as you see, you could make modifications. You could disable those VIPs if you want to restore the entire thing on the new machine. You can modify them all, and that way, yeah, you can get two configs merged together if need be. Great. The second thing, you could duplicate a service. So let's do that right now. So for example, this guy right now, I have him on 112, Paul 80, right, called extranet, fair enough. My real servers are there, so I want an exact copy of this guy. So I go on the right top to duplicate VIP, give him a different IP or different port. And now I have created an identical copy. I could make changes in the name. You see here on the back, it has in brackets a number. I take that out because he doesn't like that. And I could, if I want to, even modify my server ports now, but everything I want, it's no problem. I have now taken all the settings, including the which servers are attached, content rules, whatever was enabled. It's an entire copy of the existing one. And as you see now, I have a copy of it. It's even disabled, everything there. As I said, right now I changed the name and I changed the port of my real servers. But other than that, the entire config is identical. Right. So that's how to duplicate a service. Now you also have an option for sub-VSs. If you go, for example, to over here in this case, I can duplicate this sub-VS. And now I have the new sub-VS there, for example, and I could technically, sometimes I have customers that ask me, hey, I want for internal access, I want form-based, but for external access, I want a different authentication method, like I want to use LDAP and Radius together with an MFA against Intran, for example. So you could say, cool, no problem. Internally, we do form-based with only LDAP, username and password. But if you come from external, from unknown networks or non-internal network ranges, then we use the other option with intra ID. So I now created a new VIP for OA. You can see that right now. Here's the copy. And within the content rules, I could now have these rules. I could duplicate them and could say they're depending on a certain flag. And I can have a flag to say I'm matching everything else that's not internal IP address ranges, for example, creating that flag. And then internal addresses will go the old way and external addresses will go the new way. And that way I can make changes to the ESP settings and so on. Pretty nice. So duplicating sub-VS. Okay, and now last but not least, take this guy, for example, and we create, you see here, there are rules in there, except encoding is in there. Here's a body modification rule to change your logo to something else. And there's health checks set and everything. Okay, SSL enabled with certain settings also. So let's just pretend. And now I can create a backup or create a template from this service. I can import that template to this unit, or let's do it on this unit, that's fine as well. So I can import the template that we just downloaded on a different load balancer on the same, it doesn't matter. Now he knows what I had set, and I could create a new virtual service based on that template. Let's test this. I can give it a different name. I think the name of the template is now a bit long. So let's name it like this. So now he will create me the service based on what I had set in the template, which was no re-encryption, cipher sets should be sent, best practice cipher. Of course, the certificate could be different, so could have a different identifier, so I need to assign that. The gateway is not in there because I'm on a different network. Early on, I was on a 10 network, just for you to remember here, it's a 10 network. Here it's a 192, so of course the gateway is different. So you set that, but other than that, you see the body modification rule was created. The request rule with the header was created. So all of that there, and even the health check is there. I only need to add my target servers that I want this to run on, and then off I go. Pretty nice to use a template rather than ticking every box and looking left and right to build the service in the first place. So pretty nice. I should have modified the template. It's disabled right now for security reasons, but that's an easy fix. There you go. And we can go to that page and open this guy and see the pages right away. Sure, that IP is not part of the certificate, and there you go. I'm on my page through that virtual service that we just created, so happy days. Good, no questions so far. Okay. I would say we have the first topic tackled. I did show you how to duplicate services, sub-services. I did show you how to create a template and restore from it. And I also showed you how to modify the backup file to merge, for example, services out of 2 backups together into 1. Nice. Then back to the slides. Second topic, and I guess most of you signed up for that. Zero Trust Access Gateway Architecture. So it's not a feature, it's more a mindset, okay? Nowadays, lots of people want to have more security, and technically, security models are pretty complex. Oh, that's PowerPoint for you. Bear with me. Let me reshare. Okay, here we go. So again, IT security is getting more complex by the minute. The trusted network idea is not really valid anymore. You can't manage all devices 100% either. And then you have those modern attackers that use identity theft and so on. So it's hard to be secure nowadays. And traditionally, you always thought about my home is my castle and no one can penetrate. But IT doesn't work that way anymore. Unfortunately, it's not that you have your bridge rolled up and no one can access you. Unfortunately not. And then I went to a nice webcast, not webcast, a nice speech last year. The question is not if you get attacked from someone, the question is when, because everyone gets attacked. There are even crashes or kindergarten that get cyber attacks, right? And there's nothing they can earn from there. So the question is not if you get attacked, the question is when, or if you have already been attacked in the first place. So security is a big topic. Now, traditionally, firewall will protect your castle. No one can get in. And yeah, in the past that helped, but nowadays those people get smarter. They can fake SSL transactions and they can fake the certificates and so on. And that way they can easily affect your DMZ servers and get into your system. So that's ouch. Alternatively, if you look for user and identity pieces, they send out phishing emails and they get in that way. So the traditional castle option is not really working out anymore. You get all those slides, so I'm not reading out all of these things, but there are attacks on your infrastructure. There are attacks on people's identities. There are zero-day attacks and even borderless attacks to get into your network and other ways in, right? And to protect yourself from all of that is pretty tough. So that means all of your little structures within your IT should help you. And this is where LoadMaster came up with that zero trust idea, okay? So the idea, if you have a load balancer in the first place and it's already there balancing your traffic, why should it not also cover certain parts of your access control strategy? So we can assist you enforcing them. And now I want to show you how. For example, we could make decisions based on authentication to grant access, to say, hey, no, for you, there's an MFA required. Yeah, you have access to modify stuff or not, or you don't have access at all, right? So the load balancer can make those decisions, for example. We can also make decisions on sources, where is the request coming from, what user access has that guy, what kind of rights are there, is that guy coming from the right network to get access in the first place, what kind of protocols is he allowed to use. So there are loads of different things to enforce certain security strategies, right? And the load balancer can assist you with that. So it allows you to log deeper. It allows you to enforce certain rules about what segment can the people go to and access. Is it limited to certain URIs? Is it limited to certain sources? And all of that, the load balancer can help with. So here is, for example, one idea how we can use the ZTAG builder to enforce a certain security policy to your environment through the load balancer. So there's one example. I have certain network groups, so zone 1 and 2 and 3. They come all from different ranges, right? These are all private ranges. They have different groups, so these are admins, these are developers, these are sales. But they all go to Kemp, here in this case, to my application app.kemp.ax. Now, they go to certain different directories, but they all go to the same virtual service in the first place. And now we can enforce an access policy that says, yeah, if you're admin from a certain range, you're allowed, or here's a single range at all, single computer, here you're allowed to go to those 2 URIs. If you're a developer, you're only allowed to go to this URI, right? Based on where you come from and your user group. And the same with sales. You're only allowed to go to ops and you come from a certain place. So this is an enforcement the load balancer can easily do, for example. Another sample I have here, for example, this is storage. You have certain security zones again with specific auth headers or specific network ranges again. They can use certain options. So they can do a get request or a put request or even a delete request, right? And this is all limited to where they come from, what kind of rights they have and so on. And the load balancer decides you can do that or you can't. So that's also pretty nice. And here, just an overview about this. So you have whatever service you have. You come from certain different networks. We do zones out of it. And then we have different content rules with flag, with directories, with buckets, with methods, with services, whatever, to decide what kind of access will you get to the backend systems and to what servers are you allowed to go. So you can make all of those decisions. And I was going to create that with you now to show you. So I got you some articles about that, and you can read through that. There's a video on how it's done, and even the builder for that PowerShell module. So let me demo this. I did create one already. So here you have a sample. This was created already. Let me, yeah, we keep it. That's fine. Keep it. So this is my VIP, right? I called it source IP just to get the handle on what options are there. What am I doing? I have sub VSs, zone 11, zone 21, zone 31. They all go to the same server, but I mean, here in my case, it could be different servers for your case, but there's rules in here saying, okay, you can only access this if you come from this network. This one here says you need to come from a 10 network. And this guy here is only accessible from 172.16 network. And within your sub-VS now, there are rules now created. For example, what kind of methods are you allowed to do? So that's kind of based on the example I showed you in the slides earlier. And then you can do those kind of methods. And here you see now you're allowed to go to a certain bucket, and only you're allowed to do get or delete depending on where you come from what kind of flag is waved beforehand. So you limit what kind of access. I mean, so they get access to the server, but what kind of protocol they're allowed to use is based on those rules, and that's for each sub-VS that's different. So how did I build this? Here we go. This is the Zero Trust Access Gateway Policy Builder, the PowerShell command. I got you the link on the slides. And based on that, you get certain XML files. So here was the source IP one. I put in what kind of name the load balancer has and what port. What do I want to create? So here it's creating a certain VIP for me with my wildcard certificate assigned and so on. And it adds the real servers behind, and it also creates those rules for you. So the network rules, the methods and so on, it has it all in here, and it builds that all for me. So I have the same thing for steering groups, and I have that created, and we can run the script there in a second to build the one here for steering groups. And I think I wanted to do the trusted zones as well. So we can build them all for you to get an example. Great. So as you see here early on this morning, I did already the config source IP. So let's run this script again. It will ask me what file do I want to import. So let me take my path first. Why are you too slow today? What's going on? Oh, my lab. Great. Nope. I didn't want that. 1 second. So that's the first path. And now I want not the source IP, I did that. We want the steering groups. So let's take this guy. Here we go. And XML. So the user to access my load balancer is bar. And now it asks me, do I want to create a new service or want to update an existing one? As I don't have this guy yet, I want to create a new one. I want to use my certificate. I do not want to do a backup beforehand, so I'm not doing a backup. SSO domain is progressdemo.com. This is my normal domain for LDAP. And now he's creating the rules for me. He's creating the service, the sub-services, assigning all the rules, and all the magic is now happening. And now he tells me he is finished. So we can have a look. And there you go. He built a new service for me. You see ESP is enabled right at the beginning, and you have the trusted zones for your different groups, and then they can access the servers behind. So we can have a look. You see there is pre-authentication. You have your permitted groups that can get in. If you're not part of any of those groups, you don't get access at all. If you are part of one of these groups, then we have a content rule here based on what group. So steering 1 is the first group, that was admin. The second group was developer. So here you have 2, that's developer. And the third group was sales. So that should be steering equals 3. So based on your user group, you now get access to different sub-virtual services. And in that sub-service, then you have rules in here to say, okay, you now need to be out of a certain range. And if you are out of that range and you entered here, then you can get access to certain sources like /admin and /release and so on. So you limit through user group and source and destination, you can limit and secure. Right, and because we still have time, let me run this other one as well. So here we go. We run this script once more. And we try another test file out. Trusted zones. So let's see what the difference is on this guy. Again, val and one for all. Again, I want to create a new one using my SSL certificate. Don't want to backup. And now, based on my XML for this trusted zones, he's now creating a new service on 124. And there are different rules in here. You see customer support as well. So there are different things in this one. So let's have a look how that looks. But as you see, this guy helps you to create all of those services and even maintain them in the long run. So you see here, there's a trusted zone and untrusted zone. Multiple rules. So let's see them all in a row. So you have, again, default rules. So that's definitely untrusted, and trusted would be the private addresses. And then within your zone, you have access. Here's also permitted groups, so only those people out of that groups have access, and they can now get to your application servers. And for the untrusted zone, there is customer support and special projects, and only those guys then get access to your machines, which you can limit even further if you want to. Right. I see there's still no questions. If that is the case, and I don't have any more to share, then I give you the extra 10 minutes back for this week, and we can finish early if you want. It was a pleasure talking to you all. Honestly, I liked it. And I wish you a nice weekend and talk to you in May again. Looking forward to all of you joining. Please answer the questionnaire. I like to hear from you with all your specific parts where you use load balancer and where we might need to help you. And yeah, come back to me. Let me know if there's anything you would like to see in the future. If there's specific topics, send an email out to the girls that sent you the questionnaire. Right now, I'm happy to cater for more topics, and we can even fill in a different webinar in the slots if need be. If there's a demand, I'm happy to cater for it. Cool. Wish you a good weekend and talk to you again. Bye bye, guys.